In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Now get set again.
You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president won't.
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
We want to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vito and Vito Show out of Brooklyn, New York. Two college-age millennial conservatives bringing you nothing but the truth right here, the Vito and Vito Show. Vito, explain to the people just what we stand for.
We bring you the perspectives of two college-age millennial conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole Brooklyn, New York. We're committed to defending the principles of freedom, free markets, liberty, and individualism. Vito, we hold no punches here on the show.
That's right, no punches here on the Vito and Vito Show. Vito, being that we're college students...
Or just overgrown buffoons.
Well, that's true. We are going to have a lot of fun here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're not your average conservative talk radio show. We're a lot more fun than that. Vito, we're going to have some very interesting jokes lined up for you tonight. For all the good fans. What'd you say?
Like sex jokes?
Oh, okay. Yes, we do, actually. We have lots of dirty sex jokes going around here in the room. The Vito and Vito Show, giving you nothing but dirty sex jokes. Listen, Vito, this is a show that if you're an Ayn Rand lover, if you love libertarianism, if you're a conservative, if you're a Tea Party guy, this is the place, or gal, this is the place where you want to be, because we're bringing you exactly what you want to hear, and that is the truth. We're bringing you the facts. We've got a great show lined up here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. For example, we also, we have a special guest coming on, a part of the new Vito and Vito Show Millennial Moments.
Ellie Mae.
That's right. Conservative blogger and vlogger.
Vlogger, video blog. Yep, she has a YouTube channel.
Vlogger. I mean, she does it all. She does it all.
Right. Don't rhyme the words now, Vito. Video blogger. You can check out our YouTube channel. Links on our website, www.vitoandvito.com. She has all those hits on YouTube. You can go see her beautiful face talking about conservative values.
Yeah, she's a superstar, so we're going to have her on later on this evening. But we're also going to talk about the stock market crash that happened just earlier in this week. Vito lost all his money. He's walking around naked.
Oh, this is the worst since 1929.
I never seen a guy work the corner so hard in his life before. I mean, he's really trying to make it back.
I lost everything.
He's lost it all. Listen, it is bad. It was horrible. The Dow lost over 1,000 points this week, and even though it's inching itself back up, I think it's a very good indicator of the economy, and it shows you just how bad this, quote, recovery really is. I mean, this is a scary, scary thing that we see going on.
I thought the recovery was going great. I thought we're out of this recession and everything. I mean, you had to see the stock market is doing great before Monday.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. On Friday it tanked too, and the media is going about blaming China. The media is going about blaming Greece. The media is blaming everyone but the Federal Reserve, and if you're listening to this show, you know that it's the Fed that is definitely inflating prices in this country. It is driving about a terrible, terrible stock market. It's driving it right into the ground, and we here on the show are going to expose the truth for you. We also have later on in this program, Vito, it's going to be a lot of fun. A very, very interesting story about a very interesting governor who happens to be running for president of the United States, Governor Scott Walker. Vito, what'd you find out about this?
Is he or is he not defunding Planned Parenthood?
It's going to be a great topic later on in the program. But let's start with our first topic here tonight on the Vito and Vito Show, which you can give us a follow, by the way, at Vito and Vito Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you really like us, go to our website, www.vitoandvito.com, for network listings. The Vito and Vito Show in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.
Vito, let's break it down. The stock market crashing on Monday as a result.
That's right.
As a result of a Federal Reserve run amok. The Federal Reserve, a couple of weeks ago, actually months ago, this has been going on, this is just waiting to crash. A couple of months ago, the Fed has been talking about how they wanted to raise interest rates up in September. September finally rolls around, almost about to roll around. The Fed, again, asked that same question, will you increase interest rates? Because we all know interest rates in this country have been at historic lows. Like less than 1%. If you have a savings account in this country, it is losing money. And it's a result of the government.
That's why I keep all my money under my mattress.
Yeah, okay. So Vito sleeps on Benjamins.
My pennies.
Is that what you have as a pillow? You have like a bunch of quarters by your head?
It's under the mattress, Vito, because I want to get my sore neck when I sleep with all my dime bags.
You gotta be kidding. Your dime bags.
Rolls of quarters.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
I'm broke.
You're broke. You're broke. You sleep on
I've been hoarding gold though. I don't use money.
You should hoard gold.
I have gold.
Is the only thing that really has strong value here.
It's gold.
It's gold. It's gold member. But we see the Federal Reserve being asked that same question again. Are you going to raise interest rates in September? And Janet Yellen, head of the Fed, saying, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Which means September is coming up. She might raise some interest rates on the Fed. We're getting nervous. People are freaking out. Sure enough, the stock market takes a big dive. And I find it baffling that no one is willing to connect the Federal Reserve and the stock market problems that we see in this country today. All around the world, for that matter.
Yeah, you know why?
But people are so quick to, judge China and other things.
Yeah, because the media is talking about China.
Yeah, exactly. The media is pinning this on China because they don't want to face the facts that the Federal Reserve is the problem here. They don't want to look at the facts that when you have such low interest rates in this country, when any country engages in the printing press, when it engages in artificially lowering interest rates to, quote, stimulate the economy, all you're doing is manipulating everything else that has to do with economic trade and activity in this country. And I find it to be bizarre. No one on CNBC is talking about this. Peter Schiff is, but Peter Schiff is an example. No one on Fox Business is talking about this as much. I don't see anybody talking about this particular issue and linking the Federal Reserve and their monumental printing of the money and the fact that they're able to just sneeze, the whole world catches a cold type attitude. And everybody else is sort of eating the bucket here. I mean, if you take a look at savings in the past 5 years, you're getting hammered. You're losing money. And every time the Federal Reserve or the government engages in some type of activity that isn't a handout to special corporations or doesn't give you thousands of dollars of useless money, you see a rocky, unstable marketplace. It's anti-capitalism, Vito, and that's what we got to worry about here, is because if you're fighting against crony capitalism, this is where you got to start.
Well, it's unconstitutional.
Well, that's a great point that a lot of people bring up. It's the fact of the constitutionality of the Federal Reserve. Just how constitutional is it to have this private, quasi-public, quasi-private entity print money? Where in the Constitution, trivia for you, ladies and gentlemen, where in the Constitution does it say that this private entity can manage the nation's money supply?
Nowhere.
Exactly. Who has the power to coin and regulate money?
Congress.
Exactly. Article 1 of the Constitution lays it out right there. So if you want to make a constitutional point, great point made right there for the ending of the Federal Reserve. If you want to make a practical standpoint, just take a look every time the Fed says they're willing to talk about an increase in interest rates so that people don't die by living in their homes because they're not making any money. Savings, and I mean, the ones hurt the most here are those on fixed incomes.
And that just shows how volatile the Federal Reserve is, that they can just talk about raising interest rates in September and everything just goes hot water.
It's dangerous, and it's ultimately very much anti-voluntarism. It's anti-free trade. It's anti a lot of things.
Anti-capital, anti-laissez-faire.
Exactly.
Well, how is that a free market if you're going to have this directly manipulating the money supply and the interest rates and everything?
Well, it's not, and a lot of people blame the free market and say, well, look at how unstable this is. I remember getting into an argument the other day with a liberal over this, and they said, well, take a look at the stock market. Just look how bad it is. Look at all the money the Dow lost. Over 1,000 points. My God, this is the end of America as we know it. And I said, yeah, but you're blaming the wrong institution. It's not capitalism that's doing this. It's not capitalism that is driving this issue. The issue is being driven by a manipulative central bank that is printing money at its whim. And it's so baffling to watch nobody talk about the Fed. But everybody is quick to talk about China. And trust me, China is not a very stable country. But you are not losing over 1,000 points in the marketplace because of China alone. The same thing with Greece. Listen, they got a lot of problems. I'm not saying they don't. But take a look at who's really pushing this here. It's an economics issue, and the issue has to be driven by the fact that the Federal Reserve is manipulating this country's money supply. And just look at the damage it has done when it just winks that it might do something. It winks that it's going to raise interest rates. You just see the destruction that it causes all around this. But Vito, what I want to talk about is the fact that the media, I want to go back on this point because it really is an important one. And we see guys like Ron Paul. I don't know if you've seen this, Vito. Have you seen these videos of Ron Paul, these commercials?
Yes.
Him running around on TV saying how the impending doom is coming, and, you know, it's like, we're in a lot of trouble. And can you sit there and really call Ron Paul crazy? Can you say he's right or wrong?
The media paints him as crazy.
Well, but is he crazy, or, what's the story with him?
No, I mean, if you look into what he's saying, he makes great points.
He does make great points, and I think that has to be said, because when Ron Paul's going around talking about how this has a lot more to do with other things.
And the point that our dollar is backed by nothing?
Right. That no one is really willing here to actually call out the currency issue. No one is here to talk about the issue of manipulation at the government level in terms of special interests instead of, giving special favors and stuff like that, like the real cronies in the economy. Instead, what we're looking at and what we're seeing is that CNBC and Fox Business are talking about China. Vito, explain this to me for a second. I want you to talk to me here for a second. Why is it that the media doesn't want to go ahead and expose the Federal Reserve for what they're doing? It's cronyism. You mean to tell me that a lot of these big corporations that go on CNBC and go on Fox Business aren't sitting there right now worrying about their image? What do you think they're thinking when they walk into a room to do an interview? They're thinking of one thing. They're thinking of how they're going to basically lie to you and tell you that we're trying to give across the best product possible in our marketplace. how we're a strong, independent company. Vito, the crazy part here, and the part that's baffling to me and to millions of others out there, is that nobody is able to see this. And everybody's focus is on how we could sit around and try to not call a spade a spade. That guy Ron Paul is making some great points about the Fed. And you know what? It's about time we start to talk about these things, because he's not. Or at least a lot of people aren't.
No, very small minority.
On the mainstream level, exactly. It's a very small minority on sort of the, quote, outskirts. But if you think about it, if you take a look at the economic issues and arguments they bring up, they're not exactly crazy arguments. So I don't want to sit here and argue with people when they tell me that it's the free market that is doing this, when people tell me that it's capitalism that's ruining the economy. It's not. Before we go any further, this is an issue that has to be dealt with. Has to be dealt with. And we have to finally start taking a look at this issue head on, and we have to really start talking about it.
But then you get the guys, the minority, like Rand Paul, who wants to audit the Fed.
Yeah, I mean, he makes a great point, by the way, in auditing the Fed.
And then you have the crony capitalists, the establishment, the Democrats, and the rest of Congress. How hard this is to pass.
You know what's baffling me? You remember Occupy Wall Street? I mean, we went down there.
That was fun.
Not the protest. But we went down
just
there.
the people watch.
Yeah.
Because this is a hobby in New York City.
But we went down there, and we were checking out Occupy Wall Street, and we were talking to people. I mean, I grew a beard. Like, it was great.
That was first started the beard.
Yeah, he first started the whole beard thing. I didn't take a shower in weeks. It was fantastic. But I wanted to see how these people lived. I wanted to see what was going down in Zuccotti Park. I wanted to hear the ideas they were talking about. And for the most part, Vito, people were so concerned in this Occupy Wall Street moment with nationalizing the Fed. With not just nationalizing the Fed, but nationalizing all of the banks in the country. And saying how this is the only way we're going to strengthen and save a system is by giving all this power to government. Remember these Occupy Wall Street arguments we got into? There were barely any capitalists there. Most of which were nothing but communists. Really, honestly, at the end of the day.
Socialism fixes everything.
Yeah, well, this is what they said and this is what they thought. And I just want people to see that even the little bit of crony capitalism that is here in our system today is so destructive to millions and millions of people. Can you just imagine what would happen on a grand scale? If these people, if the radical Democrats and the establishment Republicans get their way, just think of what can happen to this country's economy.
You mean the communists and the Democrat lights? That's what's happening right now. We see this in the leadership. Because when basic bills to audit the Fed, that even some that have bipartisan support get shut down by Harry Reid. Right. So I doesn't say McConnell. It's the same thing, same guy. Harry Reid, who is in the leadership, by these leaders who don't even support bipartisan bills. And what do you expect? What do you want? Right. What can get done?
Well, this is the issue that we're talking about here. Is nobody is willing to actually sit here and call out the issues.
You're talking about having pluralism.
It is, exactly. That's our problem. When people keep talking about getting things done in Washington, when people keep talking about fighting for this thing and fighting for that, and saying one thing and doing another, we see the same issues take hold in Washington over and over again, and it's a result of people not willing to stand up and hold their damn leaders accountable. It is crony capitalism run amok. And you just see just how destructive a central planned economy can be. Vito, I haven't seen that big of a loss since 2008. You haven't seen that big of a drop in the stock market since 2008. And for people to tell me that it's all okay, the Fed will just stabilize the economy, and we're going to look for stabilizers that could help foster a safe economic growth environment, all these nothing. And I'm just reading talking points here off of these media outlets that mainstream media is just telling you. Please don't be stupid. Don't fall into a trap. Stay with me here for a second. Understand that if you do try to, quote, stabilize the economy with government force, all you're doing is impeding freedom in other areas. And that's where destruction comes from. That's where you get problems. That's where you get issues. I don't see people coming forward and standing up to the Fed. That is where our issues lie. The Federal Reserve saying, not even proposing anything, just mentioning that they're going to have to, sometime in the future, maybe in September, raise interest rates, causes this big, deep decline. in a day. In a couple of days, actually, because it also started over in Friday, and they hoped over the weekend it would stabilize, but Monday was a disaster as well. It was the biggest disaster, I think, of the entire week. And how does the market stabilize? One of two ways. Either A, it gets rid of all the bad assets and all the bad investments made with low interest rates by bankruptcy and people going out of business, or the government just comes in and just keeps shooting them up. It keeps propping up an economy based on fiat money and keeps propping up an economy based on crony capitalist favors. That's the scariest part. That's what I'm concerned about. And if you're an American right now sitting at home, you best be concerned too, because your issue here isn't just with President Obama. It has to do with the Federal Reserve System that has been dating back to Woodrow Wilson. And I'm telling you, central banking, this whole the concept of stabilizing an economy with a central bank, a monopoly on the currency that people use is very destructive. Very dangerous.
Go out and buy gold.
Go out and buy gold. Gold is... and listen, we're not giving away investment advice. I want to clear the legal air here.
We'll get sued.
But if you take a look at gold, gold is very strong, very powerful. Gold is stable because there's only a certain amount of gold in the world. You cannot manipulate the product of gold. The supply of gold cannot be manipulated. You can certainly manipulate prices of fiat money. That's not a problem. But I think it just goes to show you, Vito, how dangerous and how manipulative the stock market is because of the Federal Reserve. You got to find something to do here. You got to ask yourself, who's fighting for this change in Washington right now to take some accountability to this institution? And Rand Paul is doing a great job. Absolutely. He's doing a great job. I got to give him a heads up here. I got to give him a high five from New York over to D.C. to Kentucky. And on the way to Kentucky, slapping McConnell in the face because he is doing a great job. Rand Paul, when he wants to audit the Fed. You got to ask yourself, how are you going to do something like this? Are we going to do it by just ending the institution outright with legislation? How are you going to get votes? Or are you going to take it in small incremental steps? And I think somebody like Rand Paul is doing a great job. And I hope other Tea Party members and libertarian-like candidates can get on board. Listen, Vito, we're going to break. When we return, we got our special guest calling in.
Ellie Mae.
That's right. Part of the new segment here on the show called Millennial Moments. Plus, forget about our moments of the week and Twitter fan of the week when we return here to the Vito and Vito Show.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
You are listening to War Radio. This is where we assassinate liberal lies with documented facts and obliterate moderate Republicans who want to join their side. We are America Radio.
Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. And give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Again, check out our website, www.vitoandvito.com. Network listings, past articles, and... what else have we got on that website, Vito?
I think we're giving away some free t-shirts.
That's right, we're giving away free t-shirts. A part of Art is War. Yes. Art is War. Cool t-shirt company. They have a conservative website, by the way. They're giving out awesome stuff. So go ahead and check them out. artiswar.com.
That's right.
.us, excuse me. artiswar.us. Yeah. Check them out. artiswar.us. Go to our website, www.vitoandvito.com. Subscribe. Put in your email for a chance to win a free shirt. We're going to randomly select one and go ahead and give them away on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun, Vito. Listen, I want to talk about some crazy stuff that's going on in the world.
That's right, because
What did you do? I want to hear this.
I did something, Vito.
Oh, please tell me what you did. I'm dying to hear it.
I put out a tweet.
No, let's hear this.
Okay.
We all tweet. Go ahead.
No, but you have to go look at this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Because if you click on the link that goes to vitoandvito.com,
okay,
there's this meme.
All right.
That we're going to discuss. Ready? Just listen to this one.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's start with this.
Well, this is what I'm going to say.
Who put the meme out?
This is what I'm going to say.
All right. You've seen everything already for you, so go right ahead.
Well, it's right here on the website that Occupy Democrats
Okay.
put out Diana Betrito, a member, said that Republicans hated JFK because he was Catholic. They hate Obama because he's half black. They hate Hillary because she's a woman. They hate Bernie Sanders because he's Jewish. Let's face it, Republicans hate anyone who isn't a straight white male Protestant.
Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
I didn't know my party hates me.
This is ridiculous. This is Occupy Democrats. This is nothing but the left coming about, pushing about nonsense.
This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. So she's admitting that all Democrats do is play partisan identity politics. That's all they do. They don't talk about policy because JFK, even though he was a Catholic, was a Democrat. And not for nothing, the guy did cut taxes, so I'll give him that much. And Republicans actually praise him for it, so she doesn't know what she's talking about, this woman. What's her name? Tell me her name again. She's a member of the Occupy Democrats, right?
Yes, Diana Betrito.
Oh my God. You know, Occupy Democrats, by the way, is a pretty powerful and strong thing. Like, it's a well-known group. It's like, 99% strong and like stuff like that. Yeah. Like, it's a strong group.
It's a special group.
It's a special group, and it is strong. It's strong and special because it's got a lot of special people in it. And Vito, what weighs more? Like a bag. What has the quote go? Like a bag of flowers or something, or a bag of feathers.
What weighs more, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers?
See, you are the metaphorical king here on the show, and that's why we love you and keep you around.
Yep, this is why I'm here.
That's true. We got millennials coming on the show, too. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have, again, Ellie Mae calling in just a little bit. She's going to give us her take on this.
In 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes.
So if she's listening, in exactly 5 minutes, count to 65 times, and then call us.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's good to have people on, and we're gonna go ahead and get her take on this. Because the thing on the show, too, is that I want to get a millennial perspective on this. And I showed a lot of my college friends this thing. They saw this meme and they said, okay, this is stupid. Even like crazy communist, like guys who walk around and call each other comrades, like those type of communists in the college realm, they're the ones walking around looking at this meme and are saying to themselves, this is crazy talk. This is insane. What are they talking about? This woman, you see, this is the problem with politics, they say. And guys on the right are saying the same thing. Guys on, whether it be Tea Party guys or conservatives or libertarians. They all come out, and everyone basically is in agreement on this all across the political spectrum. If you agree with the stupid meme that basically says Republicans play identity politics, you don't know what you're talking about.
It's one thing to attack, conservative policies or anything. I get it. You're an idiot. But if you attack us because they say we hate Bernie Sanders because he's Jewish, you're a special kind of idiot.
Well, because Bernie Sanders and he says it himself, he's a democratic socialist. And even though he's running around the country trying to raise money, even though he's running around the country trying to use capitalism in order to become president of the United States by raising money and appealing in popularity and, trying to persuade you to vote for him instead of by using force, this guy is going to walk around and basically tell the people that he's a democratic socialist and this is what he believes in, which we said on the show before in the past. Good for him. At least he's honest, but he's wrong. And I could criticize his policies. Like, the guy comes out and says we need a 90% tax on all those who make lots of money. And I say this guy's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. This is the same people that walk around, the Sanders and the O'Malleys and the Obamas of the world, and the Clintons, you could put her in there as well, who all say the same nonsense. Income inequality is a terrible thing, and this is their policy prescription on how they're going to fix it. Raise taxes, kill rich people. I mean, this is the things that they support. So when you finally sit there and you can debate policy with them, all right, now you're starting to get somewhere. But Vito, this is what I don't get. I don't get this. What is the point of putting out something like now? Occupy Democrats is not a stupid group. They certainly, they're stupid, but you know what I mean. They certainly know. They know that what they're doing, they're taking a strictly political point. which is policy, prescription, stuff like that, and they are making it solely about identity. For the group that shouldn't care about identity, they're only making this about identity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I find it to be absolutely remarkable. What was your take when you showed this to all your friends who, college kids?
Well, I don't have friends.
You don't. Okay,
so when I showed my family, I mean, it's just too ridiculous. You can't. There's nothing about Republican Democrat. This is just making it up. I mean, come on. What I first think of is our slew of hundreds of candidates who are running for president.
Right.
Because it says Republicans hate JFK because he was Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember his name, but I know there's a Catholic running.
Okay.
Okay?
We got more than that. Keep going.
They hate Obama because he's half black. Guess what? Ben Carson is fully black. Okay? We got the whole blackness there. Okay, not a half.
He's 100% black.
100% black.
He's black.
I hope so. You should probably fact check that. But I definitely think he's full black.
If I could take a guess here, Ben Carson is a black man. Okay. And what else? But there's more. I know there's a lot more there. I said something about a woman, right? You're breaking up here.
No, because my sister's not into politics. She's like 6. No, she's 16. And she goes, after the debate, she goes, Vito, I like the black guy. I don't remember his name, the black guy. I think, Jesus Christ, ain't you politically correct in this house? Okay, that's Dr. Ben Carson to you.
But they also talk about how, they hate
they
women.
Hate Hillary because she's a woman.
Oh, come on.
Call Fiorina. Trust me, I love women.
There you go.
Okay?
And don't just break it down there. You got other political commentators.
Yes.
And Coulter, S.C. Cupp. You got other women who work...
Yeah, but I'm just comparing to our candidates. Because if you like to compare the Republican to the Democrat candidates... Because if you scroll down to our article, because I know you're all on VitoandVito.com right now... If you scroll down the article that you wrote, Vito, on the bottom is a meme by Behind Enemy Lines that shows the wonderful diversity of the Democratic Party.
We got Hispanics, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush even speaks Spanish, and he's white, I think. And you have people like, you got Ben Carson, and I don't really care about identity politics. I don't think
Jewish?
I don't think anybody. What?
Any Jews running?
Do we have any Jews? Any Jews? Any Jews in the fact? Any Jews? Hello? Going once, going twice, no. But the point is, we have a diverse group of candidates running. For you to sit here and for you to blast that is just crazy talk. It's absolute crazy talk. Look, Vito, we got our first millennial moment of the show calling in. She's great, conservative vlogger. Want to bring her on. It's a new segment on the show. We bring in all types of millennials to speak for a little bit. And here she is. Ellie Mae, welcome to the Vito and Vito Show.
Hi, guys. How are ya?
Hey, Ellie. How you doing?
Hi. Good. Can you hear me?
I hear you
Hello?
loud and clear. You're on the air right now.
Okay.
We hear you loud and clear.
Good. Hi.
Awesome. It's great to be here with you right now. I got to get your take on this meme that's floating around. I know we wrote about it on our website. I got to ask you. I know you read it. What do you think about it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's absolutely crazy. So what does it say? It says Republicans hated JFK because he was a Catholic and hated Obama because he's half black and hate Hillary because she's a woman, hate Bernie Sanders because he's Jewish. But, I mean, okay, so look at who's leading the polls. Trump, who actually just today says, he doesn't go to church very often, so who knows about his religion? When you're comparing it to someone being Catholic or Jewish, who really cares? I mean, Trump's leading the polls. You have Ben Carson, who's second in a lot of polls. He's not just half black, but he's 100% black. Okay? And Ted Cruz, seriously, and Carly Fiorina, she's a woman who CNN might not even let on the debate stage, which, could be considered maybe a little sexist because they're using polls from back to July when Fox actually just used polls to determine who's going to be on the debate. They used polls from just days prior to the debate, and they're reaching all the way back to July, which I think is kind of sketchy if you ask me. So I think this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and the fact that this would actually come out of someone's mouth is a little concerning, to say the least.
Right, and the scary part is that people actually would believe this, and this is what the Democrats use. They play identity politics, and they get elected. They play these people like pawns.
Yeah, exactly. They do. It's really sad. They're preying on people, on ignorant people, on people who who will believe, an Occupy member in the first place. And it's sad, just to be frank. I mean, that's so divisive and so small-minded when it comes down to it. I mean, yeah.
Well, that's a great point you bring up, is that it's small-minded. And I know a lot of, because this is a new thing we're doing on the show, it's like called this thing is called Millennial Moments. We're trying to bring on all these different young people to the show, because I want to get their perspectives on this, because, I can't stand listening to Vito for an hour, so I want to bring in other people to break my concentration. So I got to get your take on this, because I showed this to a bunch of my friends who are college-age students and stuff like that, and a little older than that, in their 30s and stuff, and a lot of people said the same thing across all the whole political spectrum. That this is nonsense. That this is nothing but just, race baiting and religion baiting and gender baiting. And it's not based on substance. I gotta ask you this. Are kids this stupid? Do we have people in our age group here that are just going to run around and are going to push about identity politics and really think that it holds water in the political arena? Like, does it really matter if you're a woman in Washington? Come on.
I think that a lot of people, actually, I just wrote a post today regarding people who kind of don't pay attention to politics, but just pay attention to videos that go viral. And I don't want to really call them stupid because, you, me, and Vito, we're all obsessed with politics. Maybe we're the ones who are stupid because we love it so much. But I think that when you just pay attention to videos that go viral and things, you do, you kind of close yourself off. And, yeah, you do end up being kind of ignorant about things. So there are videos going around about immigration and the debate, and I think people are getting really confused that there's a difference between illegals and legal, and they kind of blur the lines. The media and people who spread these videos, they kind of blur the lines. So they kind of make it so Republicans are against immigration as a whole, like they're against legal immigration, and so people are very, like I was saying, kind of willfully ignorant, and it's kind of, I mean, it's good that they have other passions, but if they would maybe just pay attention a little bit more so that they weren't so closed off, that would be helpful, because that's ridiculous. I mean, legal immigration is a positive. Illegal is what Republicans focus on. That people, I don't think, really understand that. And so they're like, oh my gosh, Republicans are racist. Oh my gosh, blah, 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 like the typical thing we hear. And they truly believe that through and through. And that's what's scary.
Well, how do you change it? I mean, that's the kicker here, is because, like I said, Occupy Democrats put this meme out. They put this thing out and they said, look, this is what Republicans really believe. And they're just preaching to their echo chamber here with over, I think they have 19,000 followers on Facebook. Like, they got a good chunk of people that follow them. And my whole thing is, this is not just Occupy Democrats, this is the whole Democratic Party. I mean, Hillary Clinton said, yeah, vote for me because I'm a woman. I mean, we can just go through the examples here of just how they play identity politics. So how do you break the mold? How do you bring people over to the right, or at least to open their minds to maybe think about policy prescriptions? Because I love how you talked about PC and political correctness, about illegals and stuff. Because I think maybe this is the Donald Trump train is sort of doing that. I think finally people are getting away from the political correctness side of things and are starting to fight and starting to think a little more about policy. And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, as far as Donald Trump breaking the political correctness thing, I think that is really good. I really like what he's stirring up. He's not my first choice, but I really like what he's doing. I think he's playing a really good part in this whole election, except for I'm friends with a lot of people who are extremely offended by what he says. So I don't know if it's kind of backfiring in some areas, but I know that there's a big part of the population who really loves that, and I personally do too. But as far as how we change this mindset, is we just have to push back in our own way, and we need to push back literally in the exact same way that they are. They make memes, they make videos, they spread things around. And I mean, I think there's a really good part of the conservative movement who really do that well. But what I would like to see is more representative, kind of harnessing the celebrities who dare to speak out on behalf of conservatives like Vince Vaughn. He came out and, spoke about gun rights and things like that. And I wish that more representatives would kind of take those opportunities and be like, hey, we've got this person on our bandwagon, and really start I know it sounds so silly because they're celebrities and blah, 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 but it's working for the left. And I think that if, we started doing those kinds of things, that would be very helpful. And it, you know, a little pandering, I guess. I mean, that's what you got to do because that's what's winning. So I hate to say it, but it's what works. So, but in true form, not in a deceitful way like the left likes to do.
Good answer.
Listen, Ellie, before we let you go, I saw you tweeted that you tried your best New York accent. We got to hear this on air.
I can't. You know, the nanny, Fran or whatever. You know her?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Are you comparing us to Fran Drescher?
No,
are you kidding?
I'm saying
Is that a joke?
I can do an accent of her. That's it. That's all I would know how to do.
Try, come on.
Oh, come on.
So,
don't break the girl's career.
Oh, that's so adorable. That's my best. Yep.
Oh boy, that's gonna
it.
win us some votes. Yeah, that's it. That'll do it. There you go, Ellie. Where can we find you? Thanks for being our first millennial moment guest. I really appreciate that.
She's been on before.
She's been on before as well, but she's a part here
It's
of
a
this
pleasure.
segment of the new. Oh, thank you. This is a new segment of the
really
show, so it's great to have her on. And where can we find you on social media? So plug yourself.
You can find me on Twitter at ELLYSA _MAYE and on Facebook at facebook.com/redrighttrue and on YouTube if you just search Ellie Mae. So, yeah.
Alrighty, thank you, Ellie, for coming on. Everybody, Ellie Mae.
A part of the millennial moments here on the show. Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And there she is. She's great. She makes some great points. She talks about political correctness, and maybe pandering is the only option we have. But this is what sucks about the political climate that we live in today, is that we're going to have to do these terrible things maybe to get these guys elected. I don't know. This is a debatable point. But I'll agree on this, though. I'll agree with her on this about political correctness. When you talk about the PC police, they're the ones that are driving the wedge here. They're the ones that are saying it is terrible if you're a white male in this country. Finally, if you have people coming out, like Donald Trump, if you will, breaking that mold, maybe we start to see a change in the country. Maybe we start to see a change from more independent thinkers.
Do you know what's coming up next?
What's coming up next?
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Moments of the week here on the Vito and Vito Show, plus Twitter fan, and we also got a very, very, very interesting story on Scott Walker. You're not going to want to miss this right here on the Vito and Vito Show.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead. Some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org. Brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
And we're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com.
And give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Vito and Vito Show.
That's right.
And Pinterest.
We have Pinterest too?
We still have that.
We still
yeah, we made that last
We still got
year.
that going around. And we have like little food and little casseroles up on our Pinterest account.
And wedding dresses.
Wedding dresses. Pinterest. This is the things that we do. Yeah, we also got a Snapchat, right? What is it called?
Yes, you can follow us on Snapchat, Vito and Vito.
There you go. These are the little things we have. Until they blow up, we're going to stick with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, the main ones, at Vito and Vito Show. Check us out.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tweet at us.
But if we get a little fancy one day and decide to make a little Snap video, we might put that on our Vine account. We have Vine also, and MySpace, and no, that's all.
MySpace?
Yeah.
Yeah, so much for the whole millennial thing. Once you dated yourself. Alright, Vito, it's that time of the week again. It's Forget About It moments of the week.
Forget about it.
Oh, forget about it.
Yes, Forget About It moments of the week here on the Vito and Vito Show. We break down some of the craziest moments in politics, and we basically tell you just how of a whack world we live in. We honestly, Vito, we live in a wacky world.
You don't understand.
And this is the segment of the show where we take 3 amazing stories in the week, and we don't tell you just how great these people are. We don't tell you how amazing and how inspiring the humanity is. We basically tell you just how terrible the human race is because of the stupidity and the craziness that goes on in the world. And in Brooklyn, we got a saying, when you see something you don't like, or you see something that just surprises you out of your boots, you say something called "Forget About It." Vito, what's our first "Forget About It" moment of the week?
Japan reveals a new carrier that bears the same name of the old carrier that attacked the United States on Pearl Harbor.
Wow.
You kidding me?
You gotta be kidding me.
You talking to me?
Talk about pandering. Listen, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's absurd. That is absolutely absurd. So the Japanese, who, by the way, they don't have a military and navy. I don't think they have anything. They sort of rely on the United States. They're going to be this cunning and this backstabbing, and they're going to run around and name their the new ship carrier after something that is very dear to our hearts as Americans. You got to be kidding me. You see, it's stuff like this that makes me flip out. It's stuff like this that makes me want to go crazy.
It grinds my gears.
It grinds my gears, and if I had any gears to grind, because I'm too poor to afford a gear, it would certainly be grinding with stuff like this.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I just had fun with that. Went in a big circle.
Unbelievable.
What's a second forget about it?
Donald Trump invited Vito onto stage in South Carolina. No, he invited a lady onto the stage in South Carolina to touch his toupee. He said, touch the hair, see if it's real.
Well,
it made the front page of the New York Times.
No, wrong. Wrong. This is all over Facebook and Twitter, and tomorrow it's going to make the front page of the New York Times. In the New York Times, however, Donald Trump was called out by a Hispanic reporter that said that his hair is nothing but a toupee. And he's like, you got to be kidding me. This makes the front page of the New York Times. And it's stuff like this that makes you want to pull your hair out and get a toupee. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane when you see stuff like this. But Vito, what'd you think? I mean, if you had the opportunity to touch Donald's hair, would you do it?
Oh my goodness! I would never wash my hand again.
I would love to run my hands through the luscious locks of his head.
Oh my goodness!
He's got a funky hair. Look, we got nice hair.
It looks like somebody who's playing around with Photoshop and tried blurring out his face.
Yeah, all right. I'm not gonna go that far. I kind of like the guy a little bit, but I mean,
so do I.
When you see his hair, it's like the back of the hair is pushed all the way to the front and like somehow wrapped around the back. Like it's like Elvis Presley if he was blonde and like I don't know, rich. Because Donald Trump compared to Elvis, I don't know if he's gonna break the bank. Vito, what's out there to forget about it moment of the week?
Ready for this?
Yeah, sure.
MSNBC has moved my favorite show, with Al Sharpton, from prime time to Sunday mornings.
Oh, wow. They kicked him out of the prime time lineup.
Now, lucky for Reverend Al, I'm at church on Sunday morning, so I cannot watch his show. Okay. So hopefully this will tank, and his ratings will drop even more. They got to kick this bum out.
I can't take the Reverend Al, if they want to call him that, or Reverend. I wouldn't do that because I think Reverend is a respectable title. And somebody like Al Sharpton is not respectable at all. This is disgusting when you see stuff like this. Al Sharpton, he's not getting kicked off. They can't kick him off because they know if they do, conservatives are going to have a field day. So they do the second to worst thing they could do to somebody, and that's move their time slot to a time that nobody watches. He's got to now compete up against Fox News Sunday. Meet the Press. This week with George Stephanopoulos or whoever they have on filling in for him. He's got to fill in with the Sunday morning talk shows. Mm-hmm. Good luck with that. Who's watching that show on Fox News at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on Sunday morning? You don't even know what's on at 10 and 9 o'clock because you're too busy watching Chris Wallace.
I know there's paid programming at some point.
Oh, come on.
What time was he on before that?
He was on in the afternoon, early afternoon, on the weekdays. So he had a 5-day-a-week show. Cut it down.
As long as it wasn't Thursdays at 8.
Yeah, good. I think we're up against, what's his name? Lawrence O'Donnell or Chris I don't even watch that station. I have no idea.
I think at one point, also on Fridays, we're up against Rush Limbaugh. I think it's Rush.
A long time travel.
We see how great we're doing.
Yeah, it is what it is. But Al Sharpton getting demoted sort of to a once-a-week show on MSNBC in the morning when basically no one's watching. Mm-hmm. They cannot let him go. It's only a matter of time. They're revamping their whole lineup, and I'm not going to be surprised in 5 to 10 years, if maybe shorter than that, MSNBC becomes a conservative station. I'm telling you now it's going to happen.
Bold predictions.
People in this country are conservative. They don't like liberal media. And if you have a whole station dedicated to liberalism, people are not going to watch it. And that is definitely something that we see here on the show. We see it in the world. You see it watching the news. You see stuff like that.
But you see, our Twitter's blowing up with about Ellie Mae's Brooklyn Lil Fran impression.
All right.
But we got to talk about Scott Walker here. So we have to change gears.
Change gears. This is actually a very interesting story, Vito. You got to fill me in here because you did a lot of research, and I want to ask you.
I thought you did the research.
Not necessarily. Explain to me. I made it look like I did the research. Explain to me, Vito, just what you came up here on Scott Walker and Planned Parenthood.
Check this out.
Break this down for me.
On a cold afternoon. Now, in a diner.
It was the worst of times. It was the best of times. Go ahead, break it down for me.
In a diner. I forgot it might have been in Iowa. No, New Hampshire. In New Hampshire on July 16th, at a little campaign stop, Scott Walker said that quote, we defunded Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. This is after all those videos came out about Planned Parenthood selling baby parts. Okay. So he said that they defunded it.
All right.
But he only stopped the Title V funding, which is state funding with the block grant with the federal government. Mm-hmm. But now there's also Title X funding that deals with the federal government that Congress is trying to stop now. Okay. Defund Planned Parenthood, that deals with Title X. So Title X is still coming into Wisconsin. So which means that he did not defund Planned Parenthood. He's reallocating funds, which he did in 2011, and right now they're trying to do the same thing in Wisconsin.
So explain this to me in a metaphor that I can understand. Is he sitting here, Scott Walker, currently, and is funding Planned Parenthood?
Yes.
Now, is he at the same time running on the campaign trail telling people that he defunded Planned Parenthood? Like, it's already done. It's a done deal.
Yes.
You see, now this is... I'm not going to go out and bash Scott Walker and call him names. But what I am going to say is I'm a little concerned here because this is somebody that is saying he's not in the process of. He's saying, he's just sort of giving you these ambiguous, vague statements. He'll say, I support something like that. But at the end of the day, is he really getting down into the nitty-gritty? Is he really sitting there defunding Planned Parenthood? I mean, to me, it's a tough issue here. Because Scott Walker has flip-flopped on birthright, citizenship, a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
You said you saw an article that says he has no consultants, he just deals with himself?
Yes, from the New York Times.
All right.
He's his own strategist, which is working wonders.
But in terms of a principal perspective here, is he actively fighting to defund Planned Parenthood? Mm-hmm. Because I know it is. We're playing with semantics here. Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm defunding Planned Parenthood," and they're really just cutting taxpayer spending. They're not really defunding the whole organization.
Right. Because all this nitty-gritty technical stuff, most Americans are not going to find out or pay attention to or really sit down and read the bills or whatever Walker is actually signing and passing. But what happened is that he made it illegal for any program in Wisconsin to receive state funding if it performs abortions. Mm-hmm. Which specifically targets Planned Parenthood. Okay. So the money cannot go to Planned Parenthood if they're giving abortions, which means they cannot receive the Title V state funding.
Well, you see, the thing here...
But there's still the Title X.
Okay.
And if Congress is, Ted Cruz and McConnell, this whole thing going back and forth, they're having a tough time defunding it right now, but it's up to the states and the governors, like Indiana did, Kansas, and I think South Carolina. Mm-hmm. A few states took it upon themselves to defund it completely by taking out that Title X. Mm-hmm. Scott Walker did not because they are working on bills in Madison, in Wisconsin, to reallocate these funds to go, instead of going to Planned Parenthood, they will go to other programs in the state.
I see.
That will go for specifically real women's health care, mammograms, etc., etc.
Okay. I see where you're going with this. I see your point.
You see the light.
I see the light. I see it also as something that this should concern you. Because if you're really fighting against... Look, a governor can defund Planned Parenthood, that's great. I mean, the guy wants to be president. Is he willing to go the extra mile and defund it on the national level? That's an interesting perspective. Is he going to hold that position on the national level? It's an interesting topic to talk about. But, Vito, when we're sitting here with this entirety, this whole sort of Planned Parenthood essence, that's what I'm going to call it, the Planned Parenthood essence, of abortion, of cloaking itself in women's reproductive health rights and stuff like that. Planned Parenthood is this sort of living, breathing organism. If I could use that.
Ironic.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Because it runs around and it stands for something. People don't go to Planned Parenthood most of the time for other things. They're going to go, when you hear Planned Parenthood, you think of abortion. And that's the thing. So, if you're going to be a politician and you're going to say you're pro-life or you're pro-choice, it doesn't matter. You should be pro-principle. And you should sit there and you should seek to do what you're going to do with that thing. Are you going to defund Planned Parenthood? Do you not want federal taxpayer money going to Planned Parenthood? Should there be no state funding to Planned Parenthood? Should it be entirely private? Should there be no abortion? Take those positions and take them strong, man. Let me see where you stand on the issues. And that's something that I think Scott Walker is going to have to answer as time gets more and more. I know a lot of the policy wonks are going to have a lot of fun with this, but it's certainly something that I think we need to be talking about in the conservative sphere, is looking at candidates and being a lot more critical than what the mainstream media is being critical, or how they portray themselves as
right. And he portrays himself as a very strong pro-life candidate. I mean, what Madison is doing with allocating funds, I believe they're modeling that off of Texas.
Okay.
So other states have done this. We can debate and talk about, should he be allocating funds? Should the government just completely not be funding any of this?
That's my position.
Right. But none of that really matters if he's just going to lie about it. Why can't you sit there and say these things, but, at a coffee shop on the campaign trail, it's just much easier to say we defunded Planned Parenthood.
Hey, it's a scary world we live in, and I'm telling you, it's very interesting to talk
that
about.
That shows something about his character, especially with no consultants, like they were saying. We're going to see if he trips up more in the future.
Exactly. Let's just go and study this issue here. The Vito and Vito Show. Check us out at www.vitoandvito.com for network listings, past articles, and our newest episodes. Don't go anywhere. Got some great shows coming up next here on the Vito and Vito Show. Listen to this here on a lot of these special networks, specifically War Radio. Gotta love them. Shout out to them. They're doing great. Love you guys over there. We also got to talk about this, the Vito and Vito Show. Check us out, www.vitoandvito.com. The Vito and Vito Show in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form kydex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.